Hi, this is Pat Moorhead. We are live here in Maui at Qualcomm Snapdragon Summit. Listen, somebody had to do it, somebody on the team, so it might as well be Daniel Newman and I. Daniel, how are you, my friend?
Doing great. Yeah, you know, this is one of those life doesn't suck moments here.
It is.
Cool technology, great weather. Yeah, we left Austin, it got cold.
I know.
And I think that was the world's way of telling us that we need to go get some Snapdragon in our lives.
Well, possibly even move these 6.5 headquarters to Maui, but we'll see.
I'm
We love the Snapdragon Summit. This is the fifth one, and I think I like this better in Maui than the first one in New York, but they're all good because essentially we see the future of smartphone and all other kinds of markets future. But we have a special guest on right now, Cristiano Amon. How you doing, my friend?
Very good. Good to see both of you. Welcome to Tech Summit.
Gosh, it's great to be here. You've had quite a year. I mean, whether it's automotive, whether it's diversification, whether it's premium Android, all your expansion plans, things seem to be going great. But I have to tell you, this is the signature event, the Snapdragon Summit.
Oh, we're so proud of it. And by the way, I often hear this comment. Actually, some of our partners say, how come we didn't get an invitation? And I feel it actually became an event that people look forward to find out what innovation is coming to mobile. I think the mobile market, it's such an incredible market. Smartphone, our most beloved device.
Right.
And we are always going to be working hard to drive the pace of innovation in wireless, and Snapdragon Summit is the place to tell the story.
Yes.
Let's just say your friends, your peers, other companies, this event, how many of our AR friends are like, oh, you're going to that Hawaii event?
Yes, we are.
They're like, who can you talk to at our company to get our event? Get us out of Vegas, get us out of Orlando. Let's get to...
It was such a smart move because I saw it as first of all, you have a very diversified global business. And if I look at the map, if I look at Hawaii and I look at all parts of Asia, the United States, but the Europeans love to come to Hawaii. But it was a real point, and I think relationships matter in this business too. And I remember 4 years ago was your first one in Hawaii. I just remember the proximity and the relationships that were created and the bonds that were created. You remember what was happening with the company 4 years ago. We all do, and it was a very interesting time. But anyway, we are here, we are now, and it's big. We're a day after launch, and you launched some incredible stuff. So Daniel, we got to dive in here.
Yeah, we do. It's always good to reflect with CA though.
For sure.
Let's talk about something that I know has become near and dear. I've seen you at Mobile World Conference, Mobile World Congress. I've seen you on the stage at your Automotive Day. You keep talking about the connected intelligent edge. This is something you've really been hammering home. And I think a lot of people kind of wonder, of course the devices are at the edge, but this seems to be becoming really core to your strategy, Cristiano. Talk a little bit about your vision at the edge and why this is such a topic that you keep repeating, no matter what industry, no matter what part of your technology stack, you're talking about the edge.
Absolutely. By the way, this is actually now core and center of where the company is going. The way I like to describe this, and which is, Qualcomm, we have been, for many, many years, probably one of the most focused technology semiconductor companies in mobile, right? We started with mobile. Mobile had defined us. We've been at every single generation of wireless. And the smartphone is really an incredible device. When you think about it, it is the computing platform of today. It's the largest development platform ever created by mankind. And the smartphone is an incredibly challenging device for technology development. Actually, if you are not good in technology, you eventually get out of this business.
And I think we've seen a lot do that. So
because just think as an example, it's not too long ago we're talking about having 100 kilobits of data. Now you have to do same speed as fiber optics over the radio. You have to have incredible computing power to run most complex console games. You have to have an ability to do inference. You have a very tiny area for you to get light, and you have to have a camera that is better than SLR. And all of this in a very tiny device with a battery, and nobody will compromise battery life. What happened with the company is we develop technology, and actually because of the phone, we end up becoming a CPU company, a digital signal processor company, a GPU company, an AI company, image signal processor company, and so forth. We realize there is another end market for this technology. So we're really changing the company from a company that was a wireless communication company into a connected processor company to basically connect everything. And it's easy to see that the most natural is, okay, the car. The car is becoming a connected computer on wheels. The car matters about power consumption. You need to have a lot of computational power. You need to deal with sensors. You need to be cloud connected. So we could bring our technology there. And then think about every other device, regardless of the vertical, whether it's industrial, whether it's retail, healthcare. And that is where the new strategy of the company is. So you can talk about silicon in the data center, but everything outside the data center that we call the edge, you're going to find Qualcomm technology there. And that's where we're going. And with that, we've been diversifying the company. And that's how we've been growing in segments like we call the auto revenue stream as well as the IoT revenue stream.
Yeah, from a strategic standpoint, I like it. First of all, it goes with history, which is if you look at the last 50 years of IT, it's kind of like an accordion, right? We come together, we aggregate, and we disaggregate, right? And right now we're in a period of disaggregation, and a lot of what's happening is on the edge, right? We're putting more compute, we're putting storage, we're putting connectivity, and it's not just one edge, 4 or 5 levels of the edge that's intelligently working together as a team and connecting with the big data centers and the big cloud. So I want to hit you on specifics here, specific opportunities in commercial and consumer. What are some of these big opportunities and how are you improving the experiences?
All right. So look, if we go back and say, okay, so as you apply the strategy that we just talked about it, what are the key big opportunities for us and where do we place them, right? So I mentioned briefly auto. Auto, it's really was the bright spot of everything we've been doing in a very short period of time. I think we put together the Snapdragon digital chassis really resonate with the industry. It became well accepted as the open compute horizontal platform for the industry. And we can, you know, it comes from the simplicity of people that have a car, buy a little holder and put their phone in the dashboard. That tells you our technology can go in there. And I think with that is what we've been doing, connecting the car to the cloud, the digital cockpit, ADAS and autonomy. And now we're talking about car to cloud service platform and so more. The other ones, the other big opportunities we see in the consumer IoT space, next generation PCs, and virtual reality, augmented reality. We're still at the beginning of that ramp curve. Sure. Regardless whether you're positive or negative about the metaverse, whether the metaverse is a good or bad word, I'm going to tell you. The merger of physical and digital spaces is going to happen, period. So then the other one that we see is this opportunity that became available to us, and I'll take a moment to explain. Broadband is imperative. Everything is going to be cloud connected. And we saw that even how we dealt with the pandemic. So when you think about fixed broadband, you had 3 options. You have copper, you have hybrid fiber coax, and you have fiber optics. Well, coax is a United States phenomenon. The rest of the world doesn't have much cable. So you're down to copper and fiber. Copper cannot help build a gigabit society. So the other alternative to fiber is 5G fixed wireless. And that business is on fire. And we see
Absolutely
that there's a huge opportunity. We're just at the beginning of that. You see now India just had a successful 5G auction and talking about 100 million households that will be connected with broadband to 5G. So that's kind of the other big opportunity. And the last one, it's hard to describe, but it's very meaningful, which is what we're doing in what we call the industrial part of IoT. And I could be, you know, we can talk for hours for each vertical, but I'm going to give you some examples so you'll be able to understand what is the role that we play. Think about retail. So through the pandemic, it became very clear that every brick and mortar store, you have to go on top and add the e-commerce business. So that changes. That changes what's the role of the associate. The associate get a shopping list, he needs to go to the store and put in the bag and ship it to you. You have handheld devices that allow that type of service to happen. Smart cameras looking at the shelf in real time and telling what's the inventory that you can sell online to also somebody at the store. And there's a countless list, and that's all about taking this technology of computing, intelligence, and connectivity everywhere.
Great example.
So you kind of jumped. I was going to ask you all about the end markets, because I think that's probably one of the things that people really want to connect the dots, Cristiano. They're trying to connect the dots of, hey, okay, Qualcomm, the company that's known for devices, is now kind of becoming known for more things. And we'll talk about Metaverse. We're going to actually hit you up on that in a bit. We'll hit you up on automotive. So you're being known more. Now you're starting to apply the markets themselves. You mentioned retail as a great example. I mean, how much do you see Qualcomm proliferating into these other markets? Is this something that you think is going to be a bit of a contagion in the sense of it's going to go everywhere? And is that driven by the edge, as you said, or what is going to drive that to get Qualcomm's adoption rates up in these other end markets?
Yes. So I will answer your question then with something simple. When the pandemic happened, that was kind of a couple of years ago, right? Immediately people want to connect their people. But the next thing they wanted to do is to connect their assets, because they needed to know where their assets are and connect their assets. So there's this big trend happening at pretty much every industry, no exception, that you go to things and you make them intelligent, you make them run on OS, and you have connectivity, and you have data that goes back to the data center for telemetry, for analytics, and all of that. That's happening everywhere. And we do see different verticals going faster than others. If you ask me today, the biggest one for us is retail. Then we see manufacturing and energy. Energy is huge because you see all those companies making net zero commitments, and they needed to bring intelligence to even how they manage a simple thing, which is an HVAC on a building, or the big box of energy distribution in a building. So we're going there, but I think there's a contagion, and I'll give an example. I think when we first talked, we'll actually go back to the very first tech summit, I could count my customers in the phone industry in one hand. When we think about our industrial IoT, now we're north of 15,000 customers. And I think that shows the potential of really spreading. I think we're still at the beginning. That's probably the biggest component of this new SAM that we have for Qualcomm is industrial IoT.
Yeah, when I look at the greenfield opportunities are clear in the industrial IoT, but most of this business is brownfield opportunities, right? With retrofits and whether it's warehouses, energy, manufacturing, we have just started. Because unlike when people said, there were board decrees that said, hey, we're going to the cloud, right? I don't want to spend another dime on-prem, but the board isn't asking for, hey, get me an IIoT project, right? It's, I want to reduce our carbon footprint. I want to reduce energy. I think we're finally to the point where these projects are good for business and good for the environment. I think some of the earlier things that were trying to drive it's environment, kind of fell on deaf ears, but it has to be good for economics as well. And I expect that to have rapid growth in the next 3 to 5 years.
Absolutely, and we're betting on it.
Yeah, you have a lot of different technologies. You're known for connectivity. And you're one of the only companies in the world that still does research, right? That's looking out 5 and 10 years. Everybody does development. Not everybody does research. Qualcomm is a company that brings the two together. Outside of connectivity, what are some of the innovations that you're investing in to go after these opportunities?
Oh, I love talking about this. Okay, so I'll just give you I'm probably going to tell you something today that most people don't know about it, right? And it goes back to that conversation about we are a company that we first think about the problem needs to be solved, then we go to research the technology. As an example, we realized we needed to get into compute because when we did the 3G and EVDO, and we're doing some of the research that led to LTE, we realized if I bring broadband to a phone, the phone needs to be a computer. So, and how are you going to fit all of the computational capabilities in today's processing, it was not possible. We need to develop a lot of new things. So as an example, you probably today, most people look at an absolute second nature that you're going to stream something, whether it's your television, you're going to have a streaming on Netflix or YouTube TV. Some of the codecs that enables Netflix and Apple and all of those different things, it was Qualcomm inventions in terms of video compression and codecs for streaming. So Qualcomm has maintained its ability to invest in research beyond connectivity. We still do it. We're already working on our 6G. We even licensed already. And we also have been doing a lot of things on AI, on computing. I'll give you a hint of something that it will be coming. When you have all those different things connected, think about cars. All the cars are connected. When you zoom out, now you have a network of cars. And you have things like federated learning. One car learning one thing, teaches another car. So there's a lot of opportunities for innovation as we go to compute and as we go to the intelligent edge. And we're going to continue doing that.
I am excited.
Yeah, let's hit them up a little bit on the summit itself. And made a lot of announcements, so maybe we'll bounce through a couple of the different topics. Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, probably one of the big exciting moments that you get at Summit every year. Talk about its contribution to kind of the overall Android ecosystem and why you see this being a bit of a game changer or a big game changer.
Absolutely. Look, there's no question. Of course, we're very biased, but Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 defines flagship into smartphone and across all categories. But there's one thing, if you look at our announcement, that is starting to look different. For example, it's the biggest improvement to date in the amount of processing for artificial intelligence. And you started to see that, yes, we're talking about all the features and the specs, but we're also talking more and more about experiences. I think we're all defining, Snapdragon beta experiences. And you now see AI pretty much everywhere. So some of the announcements we made, 5G AI modem, with a lot of advancements in using AI, which are very significant. It almost like a whole new, modem upgrade that was not possible before because of the use of AI. Cognitive camera, with real-time processing for the camera. Same thing for sound, with audio. Now even the ability to have new wake words. So what you started to see is the ability to get AI now embedded in each one of the experiences. And I think that's really defining Gen 2 from gaming for camera to multimedia to collaboration, everything else. And then some new innovation. For example, we brought in and we announced micro precision AI and the ability, if you're going to do sustained inference, to be able to have a 60% improvement in performance per watt, which is crazy when you think about it. So that's why I was so excited about 8 Gen 2.
Yeah, and I like that you're not just a bag of parts company. You show up, you have investments in software, you make investments in ecosystem to be able to convert all that goodness into experiences, and whether it's intelligence in the camera, whether it's intelligence in gaming. I mean, ray tracing in gaming, are you kidding me? No, we're not. It's here. So I'm pretty excited about it. I remember last year at the conference, right, you talked strategically about how you wanted to win in premium Android. And my assessment, very quick assessment is, I think that's going to continue into 2023, but I have very high aspirations there. So listen, let's shift to crypto and metaverse. We are a fair weather, attitudes, right? People like to jump on the bandwagon when it's going up and we're all excited about it. People love to poo-poo it when, the chips are down. And right now, when it comes to crypto and the metaverse, people are doing the thumbs down. I believe it is the future. It's the question of when, okay? What's going to happen in VR and AR, and when are things going to happen?
Great question, Pat. So We have been very bullish and will continue to be. As I mentioned earlier, I think the merger of physical and digital spaces is happening. And it's also, I think we tend to immediately think about that you wearing a glasses,
Right.
but I'll give another example. There's a great canvas for augmented reality in a heads-up display of a car.
Yeah.
Just the potential, like we're working on head-up display, the potential for you to overlay very important information for you as you drive. And we're just at the beginning of that. So the reality is, as you merge physical and digital spaces, if you have the computational power, the ability to access data in real time with low latency because of 5G, you can bring information that is relevant for you. Yes, there's going to be some social aspect, some gaming aspect, but there's going to be a big enterprise aspect as well. Think about digital twins of everything. There's a digital twin of a car, a digital twin of your house, there's a digital twin of yourself.
And that is a winning use case right now. Digital twins are hot.
It's going to change a lot of the experiences. Now, bringing that down to what do we see happening and what's the roadmap? So I think it's fair to say that VR is starting to get scale. It's starting to get scale. What Meta has done, it's now big enough that you see a lot of developers. We are yet to see China launching, but we have a device we're working with ByteDance, the parent company of TikTok. It just launched. So when China get out of the extended lockdown, that ecosystem could be as big as we have seen here in the United States, for example, with Meta. So VR is getting a scale. And when you get to that critical point, you have the developer ecosystem saying, now there's enough users, I'm going to invest in content because I'm going to make money. Then we're going to go to the next phase. The next phase is augmented reality. It's starting to get traction, and it's going to be different ways to implement that as a standalone device or also as a companion to your phone. I can see of a company, I'm just speculating, that is going to make everything phone-centric. When that happens, you're going to see a massive amount of developers thinking there's that enough scale for AR, let's develop our content. That's going to also happen on the Android side. It's going to happen for video game consoles, and it's already happening on the enterprise. What I like is some of the enterprise use cases are pretty easy to understand, which is you are working from home. There may be an environment that you want to have a multiple displays and you wanted to work with access to different information, so we can see some applications there. So I'm bullish, we're investing on it. We think it's going to become the next computing platform. It's going to take time for it to be a fully immersive AR that will replace the phone. And I'll tell you the reason it's going to take time. It's no longer an issue of processor and battery life and connectivity. It's optics. If I have to build a glass that's going to look like that with two 8K displays, it's going to be $3,000, $2,000. I think the technology on optics needs to improve, but the future is very clear. We just have to have patience and continue driving the innovation roadmap.
Yeah, listening to you, first of all, I just want to say I agree with you about the immersion. This is the thing that's happening. There's some questions about, are we going to a digital world or do we need the digital world to come to us? I kind of look back like, a decade now to the Pokemon Go era when suddenly people were actually having the opportunity with just a device to start to immerse themselves in an experience. You saw how rapidly it was adopted. When we ask people to sit in a dark room with a headset on, with ocular the occlusion of the eye, you start to limit the audience. But I think if you were driving down the street in your car and you had all the data and information around you, right, that was surrounded you, I think all of a sudden you start to go, oh, that's an application. I can see the store. I can see where I can park my car. I could see, the safest and shortest route, and I never have to pick my head up. Just one more point, because this is a long point to get to a question, is if we can get our heads back up, Cristiano, in society, I think that's a big win. How can AR paired with our device get us to go back out into the world and see each other and have digital and physical interactions that aren't so distracted? I think that could be a huge win.
I completely agree.
So cars, okay, you were talking about cars, you use that as an example. We were at your automotive day, 11 billion in design pipeline ads in a quarter, 30 billion. Literally came out of nowhere, surprised the whole industry now, partnership after partnership, a new one with Renault last week. I know Snapdragon Auto isn't here, but it is now Snapdragon, so we're gonna ask you about Ride. Where are we going with this? I mean, the momentum is there. What's next?
Yes. Look, there's so I'll tell you a little bit about where Ride is going, and then some of the incredible opportunities we still have ahead of us, right? So Ride is a very unique concept, and I think we put all the assets together. The Arriver acquisition was a very important one. And we have, but it's not only about the Arriver acquisition, it's about that we develop a scalable hardware platform. We have from Arriver a proven safety computer vision stack. That's for a computer vision SoC, which is a front-facing 360 camera. But there's another thing, which is our BMW partnership. I think not a lot of people understood that. But the BMW partnership for the SoC and the stack that goes into the drive policy, we're jointly developing with BMW, and that I can take to all other OEMs, right? And the ability is to gain scale. What is unique about Ride, we came up with a concept that is, I would describe it like this. People talk about autonomy and robotaxi. The problem is the market for robotaxi is question mark. However, assisted driving, when you're behind the wheel, I think that the market for that should be 100% attached. Why is not the same way the airbags and ABS brakes? And I think it's going to be like that. So we develop a platform that could scale. That could scale from a premium car to an entry-level car. Even in some cases with our Flex architecture, right, which we announced over there, we can combine the Snapdragon Ride with the digital cockpit. That is really resonating well, and I think what you're going to see is more and more automakers that are today working with Qualcomm on the Snapdragon digital cockpit and the Snapdragon car to cloud, basically saying we're just going to bring ADAS as well. Now, where we're going beyond that, we're going to have some interesting demonstrations at CES. I hope you guys will be there.
Yes.
But we see also an interesting opportunity for two wheels, which is also a very big market. Just think about outside the United States, the United States also, but it's not as popular as other countries. Most delivery, whether there is delivery of food or anything else, is done on motorcycles. There's a huge opportunity on two wheels as well. And I think there's a software-defined vehicle opportunity as the architecture changes. So we're in the automotive business to stay.
Oh, I think I heard a few hints there for CES, and I was in New York at your Investor Day and did put up a slide that said, hey, we're not making any commitments here, but this is also transportation. Stay tuned. So that's fun stuff. No, I hope we have to have a future safety, a future safer automobiles and two-wheel vehicles. And the fact that we're not there sooner is odd, because like seatbelts and airbags, you're right, we would save lives and protect more people. Let's move on to Snapdragon. We're getting back to Snapdragon. Actually, it's all Snapdragon. What am I talking about? Snapdragon Ride. But in the IoT space, we talked a little bit about it. Most people, when they think of Snapdragon, they think of consumer IoT. Question for you is, what are you doing in the commercial IoT space? We talked a little bit about kind of bigger picture, but what about some of the technologies here for this that you announced yesterday?
So with the Snapdragon product and the Snapdragon brand and experiences, one thing that we're seeing a lot of traction in commercial, and we're very happy about that, and we like the design traction, I even mentioned in the earnings call, is with commercial laptops. And I think that what I like to talk about PCs, if we go back several years ago, maybe when the first Tech Summit that we said we're going to bring Snapdragon to PCs, we're talking about it would be great if you were connected, but the conversation changed.
Yeah.
Because the future of work changed. The conversation is about how good is my collaboration experience? Can I use AI? Can I use on-demand computing? Do I have the best possible camera for that communications experience on the PC? Can I do hybrid computing? Because you can't move a workstation around from between the office and the home. So that create a whole new opportunity, and I think we're super focused and enable commercial laptops, and we're going to see hopefully an inflection point for the company in 24.
Yeah, saw some interesting stuff from Microsoft a few weeks ago where they added some special features to the Snapdragon platform on Windows that only Snapdragon has. How about that?
And you know, some of those demos are really incredible because all of us, they have to. For example, the one that I really like is the noise canceling one, because, for example, my dog participated in a number of product councils and other important meetings at Qualcomm. If you know, I'm working from home, I think the ability to have that experience just focus on you, mute all background noise, is really it's game changing for a lot of enterprises.
Yeah, make that ubiquitous, add in things like the language translation, you're building an AI, all of a sudden you've just brought the whole world, made it really close together. And by the way, at some point you stick on the headsets and you put it all together, and we're creating this really immersive collaboration. It is absolutely going to happen.
It's going to happen.
And the question is, you know, is this something Qualcomm can lead the way? And clearly we believe it's something that you have all the right parts and pieces, Cristiano. And we're about to wrap up. By the way, I'm so glad he brought up the PC, because I was kind of wondering if we were going to get there. You know, this is going to be a really fun to watch you guys enter this space. We've done some research. We both worked with that team a little bit, and seeing just how much you can make an impact. I love seeing, you know, three really strong players in that space. So obviously it's a little more than three, but you know, you're a new one and you're adding to the space. So let's wrap up here. Kind of a quick question. What is the opportunity that you'd like to see? What's the Snapdragon Summit, strong, Snapdragon, lots of great announcements. What's the opportunity for improvement that you want to share with the market? What do you see as the next big opportunity?
Look, we believe fully in the convergence between mobile and every other industry. I think this conversation on a PC is about mobile conversion with PC. We see mobile gaming as the fastest gaming, and with the convergence, you're just going to have a developer developing a game in once, and you just look at the size of the market when you have the mobile industry. Same thing when you started to think about the next computing platform. So for us, I'll go back to what I said at the very beginning. One of the biggest opportunity in our mission in our company right now is to make everything connected and intelligent. And we're just going to come with Snapdragon at the very center, and we're going to take that technology everywhere, and that's what we're doing right now.
No, I love it. It's been great to watch, Cristiano. We're going to wrap here. It's been great talking with you. Thank you so much. Congratulations on the success you've had since you've assumed, you know, role of CEO. The diversification strategy was a tall order. There were a lot of doubters, but you are now showing that, you know, you're executing to that and growing these businesses left and right. I'm personally most excited about Qualcomm and automotive in the PC market. I love the smartphone market, but I love growth and I like shaking it up. O-RAN is an interesting space as well in the future. So thanks for your time, and I hope you'll give us an update next time on the show.
Absolutely. Love talking to both of you, and very happy to be here.
Thanks.
All right, well, thanks everybody for tuning in. We are here at the Snapdragon Summit in Maui, joined here by Cristiano Amon, CEO of Qualcomm. But for this one, it's time to say goodbye. Hit that subscribe button. Check out all 9 of the episodes that we did here at the show. Lots of great announcements, exciting stuff. But for now, we got to say goodbye. So thanks for tuning in.